Previously on Simpy Stories with Simpy Snake.
You might say I was a bit ahead of everyone. Well, truth be told, it was at the point where I realized I wanted to be done with school so much sooner. What's up, gamers? This is Simpy Snake, and welcome to Simpy Stories with Simpy Snake. Now, previously, we talked about how Year 12 was actually a smooth ride at the start. But all good things must come to an end, because this is where things slowly but surely start falling off the rails. So let's get right into it. With the news of me getting a place at my uni, I knew the only way to get to that was to actually finish school. There's just one problem though. I realized that I had lost most of my motivation for school, so the only thing to do was to get it over and done with. Meanwhile, during the final days of term, we had gotten an email with some shocking news. It turns out that due to unforeseen circumstances, the coordinator had resigned and taken her position elsewhere. That position was later given to our homeroom teachers, but as long as playing Smash at lunch was still okay, it was fine by me. But damn, we all took the old coordinator for granted, especially with the whole common room situation a few months back. And what's crazier was that we somehow adapted with the mix and some of us became close with each other, so it was a win-win for everyone at the time. Anyways, with break being over, it was time for everyone to return to school. But not for me. I had to fill in for someone at work, so I took the day off for school. One thing I hadn't done yet was to do my homework that was due the following day, so I went straight to the library to quickly whip out 2 essays. The next day had returned, and it was rather exciting because off topic, Avengers Endgame had finally come out that day. I remember being so hyped for the movie, I couldn't really focus on any schoolwork. I remember when the second trailer had dropped, I had to show it to a few friends who hadn't seen the trailer yet. I even heard that a teacher, who was a Marvel fan, showed a class that particular trailer. I knew I was going to go see it for the first day because I wouldn't want this to be ruined. So I just got the tickets the day they dropped, and yeah, it was worth it in my opinion. Now that I got that out of the way, it's time to move on to the next week. The second week started off normally. I was working on my short as I usually would do during private study. One thing I changed in that short was I changed the name Gabriella to Tilly because I felt like the name fit the character a lot better. The middle of the week, however, I was driving to school and then my younger brother told me something that was happening at school. So when I got there, turns out somebody had stolen the water tank for the school. Because of that, school was cancelled the whole day. I immediately called my friends and told them about what happened, and they thanked me for letting them know. If I didn't leave at 7:30 to fill up petrol in the morning, it could have been a much smoother morning, especially since the group chat was also blowing up at the same time. But with that out of the way, it's the moment you've been waiting for. Dun 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 dun. The moment where Year 12 slowly began to go in a downward spiral. Why? Allow me to explain. I was on a media excursion where we would see the projects that the media students of 2018 had created. Now, I was talking to some girls about the products the students made that previous year. I told one of my friends about what happened, and then he got super salty at me and was like, "Yo bro, why didn't you get the Snapchats or something?" I didn't get mad at him though, considering I'd ask him for advice from time to time. So by that afternoon, I had created myself a bio for the Facebook group VCE Dating Space, where VCE students would try and find the one. I decided to give it a try, and then when I read the comments a few hours later, people were flat out roasting me in the comments, such as comparing me to a 20-something-year-old guy, as well as looking like the bald alien from Monsters vs. Aliens. But that's not all. Someone actually went as far as to create a meme of me. At first it was pretty funny, but then I realized I f***ed up badly, so I deleted the post on the page. The whole incident had left me broken and depressed for the next few days. Meanwhile, during that same time, most of my friends saw the whole thing unfold. The comments, the meme, everything. When I went to the library, my friends felt bad for me about what happened. And the next day, everyone was asking whether I was alright from the whole incident. I responded by saying I had to say that I was fine. but I wasn't really fine because I just couldn't get into it because I would never understand. I eventually got over it a day later, and it was completely fine afterwards. It made me feel better when my friends told me that at least I went viral in under an hour. The meme that was posted had its place in the meme wall months later. Regardless, I would like to say that the whole dating space incident was the exact moment where Year 12 slowly jumped the shark for me. It was one of the worst things that had happened to me at this point, but the worst had yet to come. Okay, the week after, nothing really out of the blue happened except that I got sick because I suffered from coffee withdrawal from the previous day. That is, aside from something I will get to later. The next week, however, was crazy. The private study class that would usually be in the library got moved to a smaller classroom. That was because of something the primary school students had to do for a whole week. So it was all over the place with the study sessions. But, aside from being told to shut up for no reason, I would say that I had a pretty good day. Throughout the week, I was working hard on finishing those storyboards, which were due in a few weeks. Progress had been going smoothly, but I didn't have much motivation at this point, as I just wanted to get other subjects done. The following week was jam-packed with event after event. First was picture day, which went smoothly, aside from people borrowing each other's blazers and not getting the pictures with their jackets. And there was also another surprise practice stack. But the next day was halfway day. This day was significant because that meant us Year 12s had already made it through the halfway point of the year. So the teachers took us bowling, which was one great experience. Afterwards, it marked the beginning of the planning stage of what would be known as Celebration Day, which is a whole chapter on its own. I will get to that. Not too much happened by the end of the term, aside from me finishing those storyboards. That, and also there was a whole debate about a serious topic, which caused me to nearly end a friendship with someone, which was quickly resolved. You're gonna hear a lot more stuff like this later on. This was due to a then upcoming English presentation where you talk about your view on a serious issue, which could be anything. When it came to anything, I chose to do it on my personal issues with the Disney remakes and how they're oversaturating the film market. Another significant thing that happened was to hype the Battle of the Bands. Now, all throughout the first half of the year, this was the one event that everyone was hyping the hell out of. Every break people got was to rehearse for the occasion. It even went through the sport classes. Now, Battle of the Bands was where each house would do one big performance with a section where each group would do some dancing and the house would do one big finale. There would also be a judge system, very akin to shows like The X Factor. I've only been in one of them, and it shows how amazing people can spend months choreographing and planning and make them look amazing. Everyone did an amazing job, although the house I was in got robbed by not one, but two other house groups to which the winning house felt so bad. They even went as far as to agree with us. But nonetheless, it was still a great experience. Was the second term as good as the first? Not really, but at least it wasn't as bad as what was to follow. Yikes.